David Tennant,
Yeah.
who is an irritating Scottish bloke, an actor, who I used to think was okay when I was younger. He was at it was some LGBT awards,
Pride Award,
Pride of recognition, because apparently we're in another LGBT Pride month at the moment, which they seem to happen every month. So I'm not quite sure why this is a special month. He was given an award for services to LGBT.
It was called something like an Ally Award.
Yes,
Because
an
even though he doesn't claim to be LGBT, touching his turnaround.
And because he's so courageous and brave, the first thing he did on being given the award was then lay into a black female high achieving politician.
Yeah.
And he laid into Kemi Badenoch, and he basically said, and I'm not even paraphrasing, he basically said the world would be a better place if she didn't exist.
Yeah.
Then tried to backtrack basically, but basically laid into Kemi Badenoch, and Kemi Badenoch is, Kemi Badenoch. She's
the trade minister for the UK.
But she's a very intelligent black female politician who has spoken up around women's rights around trans issues. And is regarded as potentially the next conservative leader. She's very popular. Her views are more traditional conservative views, basically, not a wet Tory. She defended herself, but I just thought that, and people have been laying into Tennant basically. I mean, she defended herself and said, you find you're able to lay into a privileged white English man laying into a black female politician, sort of high achieving and he's achieved nothing except being an actor basically, but apparently one of his kids is trans or sort of whatever that means, and but I think what's fascinating about this, and he's represented the Labour Party before, he's spoken up for the Labour Party, but this what's happened now as a result of these progressive policies, we now get a man who can openly attack a woman, saying that a woman shouldn't exist in public, and he gets away with it with no outcry. Now, if you had a white conservative politician laying into a black female Labour politician, there would be chaos, wouldn't there?
Yeah, there would be chaos. This has got quite a few angles to it. The first thing on this that annoys me is, why can't David Tennant criticise a black female politician? He's entitled to. If he thinks the world would be a better place without her, then that's what he thinks. He has a right to say it. I'm sick and tired of the right using the left's armour and weapons, such as, you can't, as a white man, you can't say that about a black woman. Well, that's what the left do. We're grown-ups. That doesn't affect us, so I'm sick of people criticising him for that. They shouldn't be criticising him for that. He's entitled to say what he wants to say, and I'll defend his right to say it. He said it because there is absolutely no consequences for him saying that, and he knows that to be true. He was in an audience that screamed and shouted and cheered him saying it. The thing I would advise him to do is to be a better parent. Because if he was a better parent, his child wouldn't be non-binary. He's failed as a parent because he was too weak, too soft, too woke, and he allowed his child to develop mental health issues, which have manifested themselves as, I'm non-binary, which makes no sense whatsoever. That's what he should be called out on and criticised on. The fact he's at an LGBT awards, winning an award, criticising a Tory minister, criticising other people, is no shock whatsoever. But we're all of us, and we're all susceptible to this. And you are as well, I could tell it in your voice when you were talking about this at the beginning, that we're using the language of the far left. He was criticising a female black woman and he's a white man. It's like, I don't care.
I don't think, no, I think the fact she's female, no, I think there's my strands are not that she's black. One is that misogyny now has...
Misogyny doesn't exist.
Misogyny has a veil now.
Misogyny doesn't exist.
Behind the trans thing. So you are allowed to men are allowed to attack women using the veil of the LGBT trans thing particularly. That's the first thing. So
when you say attack, what do you mean? Do you mean criticise?
Yeah, criticise.
That's not an attack, is it?
Criticise aggressively.
Aggressive. It wasn't in front of her face, screaming at her.
No. And the second thing is...
So it wasn't aggressive.
Yeah. Well, it was quite aggressive because he said he wished she didn't exist. He was basically wishing her dead.
No. What he was saying...
Sorry. That's the point. That he started the sentence, if you watch the video, he started the sentence saying, the world would be a better place if people like Kemi Badenoch doesn't exist. Now, to my mind, that's a death threat, isn't it? He's basically saying... if I say, Nick, I wish you didn't exist, It means I want you dead. Yeah? What else does it mean?
It means you think the world would be a better place without me in it.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you want me dead.
Well...
It means... So we keep jumping on the language of the left.
Yeah.
And we keep being fake offended what people say because we've seen the left get away with it for that long.
But I think that's
a new weapon.
I think that is offensive. And the reason you can see it's offensive is he then immediately backtracked and said, I don't wish her any ill.
He was clarifying because then people jumped on saying, you wish she was dead.
Yeah.
That's not what he meant.
That's my interpretation.
I don't think he didn't mean that at all.
But that's a subjective thing. My interpretation is when somebody like that says that the world would be a better place if that person didn't exist, you want them gone, disappeared, non-existent, to cease to exist. That's what he's saying basically. That was the first thing I took umbrage at. The second thing I took umbrage at, and it wasn't. I know what you're saying, and I think you're nearly right in that. You're saying, you just jumped on the. The second thing is what gives him the right. A stupid actor with no brains, no insight, no particular capability to criticise a highly accomplished person like Kemi Badenoch, who is highly educated, has achieved a hell of a lot politically in her career. He doesn't even have the right to lick her boots, whether she's a woman, black or whatever. I hate the idea that they believe, because under the veil of the trans thing or whatever, I'm on the stage now, I now have the right, as an absolute imbecile, to criticise somebody accomplished. So that's my irritation with him. And
But he has that right.
Oh, he has the right.
We all have that right to criticise anyone we wish to criticise, because if we then start deciding who we can criticise and who we can't, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because the people we want to criticise will find themselves on the side. We've had this before. It was for the last few years we can criticise trans, we can criticise mass migration.
Yeah.
So only the last 3-4 years we can do that. Before that, it was a no-go area.
Yeah.
So he has every right to criticise Kemi Badenoch. And he can do it in any way he wishes, up to the point where he calls for violence.
Yes.
But
I think that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. He has the right to criticise a black woman. Totally, he has the right to criticise. Just because she's black and a woman doesn't really stop from criticising. It's the nature of the criticism in terms of, I think it's basically is inciting effectively violence with people, because she's saying this. I don't think this person. It's like saying the world would be a better place if Jews didn't exist. What's the difference? It's the same. That would be the same incitement to violence or whatever of a certain section of society. That's the first bit for me. The second bit is just annoyance and disgust of the fact somebody like him, which we talked about the week before, with no skills, knowledge, capability, is criticising somebody as accomplished as Kemi Badenoch. That's kind of my... But I take your point. Yeah, maybe there is an element in there where I probably did jump on the bandwagon of the fact she's black and a woman as well.
Because we've seen it all our lives. Yeah. That they get offended at this, so let's use their weapons against them.
Yeah. Yes.
For the same reason, and it's an easy trap to fall into because it's simple and it works. He should be attacked, but he should be attacked on his stupid views and being a failed parent.
Yeah.
That's the answer to him, by saying, you're only there because you couldn't raise your child to be a fully functioning, positive member of society.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why you're on the stage. You failed as a parent. And rather than admit you failed as a parent, you're looking for any excuse and any bandwagon to jump onto that validates you as a good parent. Because deep down inside, you know you failed.
Yeah.
Because your child is now mentally ill.
Yeah. And I think he will have gone through that, won't he? He'll have gone through the stage where he realised something was wrong. He realised the child has got mental issues, psychological issues.
Yeah.
But rather than actually trying to fix that, and for the time, he's gone out and sought a way to validate what's happened.
If I believe this, that means that's not my fault.
Yeah, yeah.
That means my unhappy child isn't my fault. It's because they're non-binary. Oh, I'll have a bit of that, please.
Yeah.
Because now I'm not to blame for anything.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm seen as a bit of a hero for having a non-binary child. I was special anyway as an actor. I'm even more special now because all the successful actors have all got trans and non-binary kids, haven't they? We see it in America, in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Nearly all the trans people who are coming out, all the kids coming out, have all got famous parents. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis.
Charlize Theron has got she's not had any children of her own. She's got 2 adopted black children.
Yeah.
Both bizarrely trans.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what are the odds on that? So,
but you've got me thinking now, because I'm actually now questioning, because I remember when I saw the clip, I remember being really annoyed when I saw it, but I wasn't thinking I'm annoyed because Kemi Badenoch is a woman. I don't know why. I'm now trying to analyse, because you've got me thinking now, am I thinking the right thing here? But my visceral reaction when I saw him doing that was real anger at him at that point. But I'm not quite sure now where the heart of that anger came from. It wasn't because Kevin Badenoch's female and black. I felt like something was being threatened when he was saying that. But I now need to maybe look into that to understand it. Because you've actually got me thinking. You've made some very good points.
I would say your reaction is because you are traditional male. And traditional males want to protect women. And when we see men attacking women, and you use the word attack, and that's how you perceived it, I think that triggered your innate role within you of protecting women. I'm not having men doing that.
Yeah, maybe that's what that is. That's a very good point, actually, because it is a man attacking a woman, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's probably the heart of it. When I see a man, and it's the same with J.K. Rowling. When I see men attacking, I know you're not a massive fan of J.K. Rowling, but I think part of me is you see big, fat, middle-aged men attacking a woman, a slight woman. There probably is a visceral reaction to that.
It's innate in us. Our job is to provide and protect.
Yeah.
We protect women. We provide for the tribe. And it goes against our innate nature when we see these things that we don't like. It's like, no, you're not attacking women. Physically, but now it's not so much physically, now it's verbally. And we don't like it because we're traditional men and it sets somewhat off inside us.
That's good. That's an interesting reaction there from you. An interesting response. Got me thinking.
Did you like that video? I think you did. Hit the bell, give it a big thumbs up, comment, and don't forget, I'm standing for election in Oldham East and Saddleworth. So please share this video, speak to your family and friends if you live in Greater Manchester, and if you live in Oldham East and Saddleworth, make sure you vote for me. Catch you soon.